Hello and welcome back to my channel where I talk about Japan and the JET program. So if either of those things interest you, then be sure to subscribe. If you have been accepted onto the JET program and are awaiting departure to come here to Japan, then this video is for you. When I arrived, it was August of 2018, but now with Corona and delays and everything, I actually have no idea when people are expected to arrive. Someone told me in a comment or message something recently they were told November, but who knows? So if you've been told when you're expected to arrive, let me know in the comments because I actually am curious to see what the general consensus is. Also, if your placement prefecture is Hyogo, then comment that below too because maybe we'll get to hang out, who knows? But anyway, I wanted to give some advice to the new incoming ALTs. So here are my top 10 tips for arriving in Japan. Okay, so when I first arrived, I was constantly asked my address, and I'm not used to Japanese addresses, so it was really difficult for me to remember, and every time I'd have to get my phone out and search back to some old email I got from the school before I even came here to check it, and oh my god, it was so annoying.
Well, it doesn't have to... That's a good question. I don't know.
So I thought it was worth pointing out that when you get your residence card, which you have to have on you at all times in Japan as a foreign resident, your address is actually on that in Japanese in kanji. So for example, if you're, I don't know, lost or you need to get a taxi or something and you don't know how to say your address to the driver or whatever, you can just give them your residence card and be like, take me here please. Okay, this is an important one. If you are coming to Japan and you are bringing an existing phone and you're hoping just to get a Japanese SIM card, then don't just Google Japanese SIM only or whatever, foreign phone Japanese SIM cards, and go with one of the first options that come up, because those are highly targeted towards foreigners, especially if you're Googling, you know, using English characters, and a lot of the time, it's not a good deal.
Oh my god. It's a Fritz Bernays. Ladies, I just don't think we can do any better. This is beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
It's unique, it's special, it's couture. This is made in France.
This is $800.
No kidding. It's on sale.
So I actually changed my SIM card recently myself. I had a Japanese friend recommend me different options. So now I'm with his mobile and I get about 20 gigabytes of data and 70 minutes of call time for roughly £15 a month, which is pretty good.
Oh, look at me. Lillian, look at this one. Isn't this pretty?
And on top of that, there's no like big contract or anything. You can kind of cancel it every month. There is an initial setup fee, but apart from that, you're just paying £15 a month and you can stop it whenever. Linemo is another good option, so I'll link both of those options below. Okay, so the next one is a season-dependent tip, and that is for those of you arriving in winter. There's a store in Japan called Uniqlo. When I first arrived, I was told it's where you go to buy cheap clothes, and every winter they release this stuff called heat tech, which is just like this really thin layer to put under whatever you're wearing, and it is a lifesaver at school because although they have aircon sometimes for the summer, there's no heating in the classrooms for the winter. So yeah, I've been in that classroom with a winter jacket teaching because it gets so cold. So it's a great thing to have in the winter time.
I can't stand the cold no more. I want heat. Too hot! Too hot!
On the flip side, in the summertime, again, Uniqlo, they release this Airism stuff, which I like to put underneath my shirts and stuff because it's like a cool material when I inevitably sweat through everything I'm wearing. If I'm just wearing a white shirt, my nip's gonna be on show, and you know, these are not for the children. So I'm doing that again.
Okay, let's move on.
Because if I'm gonna sweat through all my clothes, because I mean, I'm gonna inevitably sweat through all my clothes, and I don't want it to, and I don't want my shirt to act as like an invisibility cloak. Nah, I'll use the first one. Okay, the next one is to learn some polite phrases, some workplace phrases in Japanese. Like a little self-introduction and just some set little common phrases. Very easy to Google. You will not be expected to speak Japanese, and the staff will probably assume that you don't, to be honest, and they're not going to expect you to fully dedicate yourself to the language. But I think a little bit of effort shows that you are willing or trying to engage with the language even a little bit, and I think that that makes a really good impression on them.
I'm very honored to be in the presence of so many locals.
So just as an example, if you're sitting at your desk and someone is leaving to go home, and they're saying goodbye or whatever, if you say "Otsukare-sama desu," it's kind of like thanking them for their work. That's kind of literally what it translates to. Thank you for your hard work or something like that. And it's just a set phrase that people say.
I'm done. We're leaving. Stand up, we're leaving. I'm
Good
done.
about yourselves,
I'm
all of
done.
you.
お疲れ様です。
Yeah, it's just polite, it's nice, and it'll make a good impression. If you arrive to your apartment and it's like the situation I had where it's completely empty, there's nothing there. The day I arrived, my vice principal took me to the Japanese equivalent of IKEA. I knew I was gonna buy a bed at some point, but I'm tired from the travel and everything, and I'm just like, okay, I don't really understand Japanese money. And I spent a stupid amount of money on this single futon, and then a few months later I bought a bed that was quite expensive. I know it can be nerve-wracking when you first meet your Japanese teachers, the vice principal and everything, but you really can't be afraid to be firm with them if you feel strongly about something or their assumptions don't match your plan.
How do you know what's good? That's my opinion!
If you know that what they're trying to do for you isn't going to work, don't be afraid to be firm with your school when you first arrive. Or ever, really. Find yourself a hobby which you can do at a desk. You've probably heard of the desk warming period in Japan. If you haven't, that is the time between terms when you have no classes or work to do or any responsibilities, but you still gotta come in all day every day even though you got nothing to do. It'll vary from school to school, but for example for me, I just finished teaching the previous term at the end of June, and I literally just started teaching again last week at the start of September. I had over 2 weeks of nothing to do.
I laughed, I cried a number of times, I sweat, I danced, I got a shot, I ate, and I had many epiphanies.
And they know I have nothing to do, they don't give me any work, so you know, it's not weird to just do a little hobby or whatever. So for me, I edit my videos at my desk. Maybe you're into reading, maybe you're into drawing or writing or programming or something. Think about something you can do at a desk that will keep you occupied, or you will go insane. I did make a video of ideas of what to do when you're desk warming, but let's just say it's not fully serious. Pocket Wi-Fi, something you can rent online and you can actually have it delivered to, for example, a hotel. So if you're going to go to a hotel for orientation when you first arrive, you can organize it in advance, this little device, and then boom, you've got internet on your phone. You go out, explore that night, you're not going to get lost because you got internet and you can use it on your phone, Google Maps, whatever. Pocket Wi-Fi is usually super flexible. You can usually like extend the contract if you decide actually I want to use this for longer, and you know, you don't know how long it's going to take you to get like regular main internet set up at your home wherever you're placed. Things just take time in the beginning. When my family came to visit, I rented one so that my brother would have internet for his phone while they were here. And it can also be handy at school because typically the computers ALTs have to use at school are old as fuck. That's the only way to say it, really.
You are not the C word. You're an insignificant ass hair. Okay.
So, you know, when you're making your PowerPoints or whatever, it's just unbearably slow. And you can't really use your personal laptop because it won't connect to the school network. But if you have pocket Wi-Fi, you can use internet at school and you can work on your own laptop and get everything done a lot easier and nicer. And another situation I've used it in, literally there's so many uses for pocket Wi-Fi, is in situations where I'm just about to go traveling for like a weekend, a week, whatever, and my phone data runs out. And I'm like, I don't really know the area I'm going to, it's a new place. I'm gonna need internet to navigate and survive the time there. So I just quickly rent pocket Wi-Fi for that weekend and sorted. So yeah, it's truly endless. I will link one option below in the description. Okay, so my next tip is for you to think ahead about some basic recipes which you can make because, well, let me tell you, your equipment in the kitchen is probably going to be extremely limited. When I arrived, I had like a little tiny wee toaster oven and I had a microwave, and that was it as far as cooking went.
And it has a white refrigerator. I was like, oh, not a white refrigerator. Girl, please put your shoes on. Let's go find you a home.
I didn't even have like a stovetop. I had to go and buy secondhand a little electrical stovetop. So be prepared for that. But also just like think about what ingredients might be easier or harder to access in Japan. Because with a lot of typical Western ingredients, although most of the time you can find them, either they'll be very expensive or you'll have to go to like a foreign supermarket or specialty store or something for them. And depending on your placement, that might not easily be accessible. So, you know, Google around, look on YouTube. There's loads of great cooking channels and stuff specifically for cooking in Japan. I made a few cooking in Japan videos myself. I don't know how helpful they would be to you, but I guess I'll link them below. So continuing on from the empty apartment scenario, there are a number of 100 stores, like 100 yen stores, like the equivalent of Poundland in the UK, but better quality and with a lot more stuff. They are great for stocking up your apartment with things like plates, cutlery, even like pots, just generally like kitchen goods, bathroom things, like you can buy little stick-on shelves and stuff. So much stuff you never even realized you needed there. And I mean, it does add up when you've got a massive cart full of stuff, but it is very cheap. And if you do need to like bulk buy apartment stuff, super, super handy. The biggest one is Daiso, but there's also Can-Do, and I'm sure there's a few others as well, but those are the two that always come to mind, or the ones that I see around. Okay, I hope you found these 10 tips useful, and if you did, then please click that like button. It's greatly appreciated. If you want advice on anything else at all, or you have a question or whatever, then fire it down below. For those of you who are coming on Jet this year, hopefully, wow. You must be so stressed and nervous and excited, but mostly stressed because, you know, I'm sure you're worried that your departure will be delayed further or whatever, and really fingers crossed it won't be. And don't forget to subscribe for more advice. Alright, that's gonna do it for me today. Thank you as always. I'll see you next week.